Okay, good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. We're going to just give folks a moment to join from the waiting room and connect to audio. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are appearing or testifying before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chair of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you very much, Danny. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. And today I'm pleased to be joined by Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon.
Thank you very much. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. Again, all testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. Calling item number 1, Boston Ballroom Corporation, doing business as Royale, located at 279 Tremont Street. Dated the incident December 15th, 2022. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
George Kalivas.
Thank you, Mr. Kalivas. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective McDonough is not here. It's Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Thank you, Lieutenant Detective Troy. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you both please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And sorry, is there another individual with the name iPad who's raising their hand on this matter? Sir, I'm asking you to unmute. It looked like you were also raising your hand on this matter, but you're currently on mute.
I'm sorry, you were referring to us, right?
Nope, Susu is will not be called until later. You're item number 6. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'll ask one more time then. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of item number 1, the incident at Royale, who wish to testify? Thank you. You've both been sworn in. Lieutenant Troy, if you could please proceed with the police report.
Reading from a police report authored by Robert Figueroa, it reads as follows. About 19:30 on Thursday, December 15, 2022, the victim, Santiago Lamagos, walked into District 1 to file an A and B report for 279 Tremont Street, the Royale, Boston. Victim stated he was at an event at MIT Sloan students and their significant others at Royale. Victim stated morning between 1 and 1:15 hours he was confronted by an unknown suspect believed to be a Frenchman in the bathroom of Royale. Victim stated suspect started making comments to him about his t-shirt from Argentina. Victim stated witness number 3, Andrea Bessa, heard the comments the suspect made towards him. Victim stated about 20 minutes after using the restroom, he was punched with a closed fist by suspect multiple times, 5 times in the face and head area. Victim stated that he sustained a broken nose, busted lip, and head contusion. Victim stated he was taken to MIT police by friends and then taken to MGH from Cambridge by EMS. Victim stated a witness, Mr. Simeone, and another witness, Tobias Beck, observed the suspect assault him inside the Royale. Victim further stated suspect left the scene after the assault. Victim was advised to find a supplemental report if he finds out the identity of the suspect, more witnesses or pictures of videos. There's a note also that victim stated a guest list should have a list of all invitees. It's a supplemental report in addition. And authored by Officer Santos, and it reads as follows: about 1:41 on Saturday, December 17th, Officer Santiago sent to the front desk of District 1 took a supplemental report for an assault that happened at 279 Tremont Street. The victim stated the potential suspect is Tristan Magnin, who was an MIT student from Sloan Master in France. The victim stated he does not have an address for the suspect and said that his witness can ID the suspect. MIT directory provided a phone number for the suspect. In addition, there's a second supplement written by Officer McCarthy, and it reads as follows: at about 10:20 p.m. on Saturday, 12:31, Detective McCarthy, while assigned to the Alpha 802, along with Detective Lewis, responded to the Royal Boston, located at 278 Tremont Street. Detective McCarthy issued Royal license premise citation notice for assault and battery, patron on patron. That's the extent of the incident reports.
Thank you, Lieutenant Troy. Mr. Kalivas, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah, this is he said the Sloan School of Business. A lot of nerds. It was a party that MIT had over there, end of the semester holiday party. I'm not even sure, but it was December 15th. Nobody actually witnessed the incident. I was contacted after it actually happened by my staff. Hearsay says that the victim actually threw a drink in the face of the assailant. So this all happened a couple of days before the World Cup. I mean, we know how some people are fanatics about their team. So I addressed the situation by trying to find the victim, trying to find the assailants, and I mean they left right away. They left the club, so we didn't find them. At that point, I couldn't call BPD, couldn't call 911 because there would have been nothing to really report. I had nothing to give them than what unless this kid came forward and went to the police station, which he ended up doing. And I was so subsequently contacted by MIT police and Boston police about this. The only thing I can say is Argentina got the revenge back because they won the World Cup, but I don't know what else I could have done. We don't have cameras in the bathrooms, and this happened apparently in the corner of the club where there wasn't a camera.
Thank you, Mr. Kalivas. Anything further? Okay, we'll turn it to the board to see if there are any questions, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Yeah, thank you. So we're talking about a broken nose, a busted lip, and a head concussion, and no one in your establishment saw this?
No, when they were exiting the building, they were going down the stairs. One of the security saw them, and that's when they contacted me. But when I went to try to find the assailants or the victim, they took off right away. The victim friends, escorted him right out of the building real quick and left.
So this happened near the bathroom. Do you have any security stationed by the bathroom?
Yes, normally we do have security by the bathroom.
Normally you do? Did you on this night?
I'm sorry?
So this, I believe, happened near the bathroom?
Yeah, in the bathroom initially.
Okay, and you had security there?
Not in the bathroom, we didn't have security, it was a
You just
small
stated
men's bathroom.
you normally have, I think you said you normally have security by the bathroom?
By
Did
the
you-
bathroom, yes,
Did you
we
have
always did,
security by the bathroom that night?
yes.
Did they hear anything or see anything?
No, because, well, the initial argument, whatever, was in the bathroom where they were making comments to each other, then they left the bathroom. And they re-encountered themselves, they met up 20 minutes later, in the club.
Okay.
It
And how
was,
many,
it was a fairly busy night, I mean, we had the whole school there, and their friends.
and how many security did you have on that evening? How many staff and security?
Geez, two, 4. I'd 12 to 14 security. I mean, like I said, this was a kind. Some people were dressed in suits, some weren't, but it was a kind of a semi-formal, party for graduate students. This is something you would never expect to happen, with people who are in school together at that level and at that age.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon.
I'm just not clear. How did you first become aware that anything had happened that night?
I got a call on the radio by security as the victim was being escorted out by his friends.
Okay, so someone in your security staff saw the victim leaving,
Yes,
and you spoke to that person?
the
You spoke to your security person?
on the radio. Yes,
Okay,
I
did you speak,
was
did you
in
speak to
the-
them
I was-
after?
Go ahead. I was at the other end of the club.
Yeah, did you speak to them after about what they observed?
They just said that there was a kid being helped out. He was walking on his own, whatever, and that he was holding a cloth to his face. That's and they asked him. We always ask what's going on, and they asked him if they needed help, and no, we're leaving. It was in an accented English.
All right, did you have a detail on that night by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a Sloan School of Business. Yeah, this is the last place you'd think something would happen.
I understand that logic, but my concern is, and even though you weren't written up for failure to call the police, it sounds like even with the limited information you might have had that night, it might have been the better idea to call the police, because even though you couldn't find the assailant, maybe the police could have.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, we looked. Everyone scooted pretty quickly.
Yeah, as far as you knew, you know what I mean? So, like I said, you haven't been written up for failure to call police, but I am concerned with that lack of action there under the circumstances where your security saw him, covering his nose with a cloth or something. So it would indicate that something somewhat serious had happened. So I just, more in the way of a comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I do not hesitate to call 911 in any type of emergency.
Thank you. Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
I'm just curious about your camera system. How many cameras do you have, and how many corners don't have camera access?
Probably we have over 20 cameras in the building. So the cameras we have a couple cameras in the ceiling, which gives us, you can't really see details, but you can see the people. But then I have two cameras at almost every single bar, except for maybe a little satellite bar. But all the bars have cameras around them, focused on the bartenders and the guests right in front of the bars.
I would just say
The
maybe
other thing is, I'm sorry?
I would just say maybe just do a review of just to see how many blind spots you have, because you said the altercation must have taken place in some kind of blind spot. So just
Correct.
maybe review and just to make sure that you have comprehensive coverage.
I've already added cameras to several blind spots, and we're working on getting a few more.
Thank you. Anything further from the board on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 2, Summer 6 Corporation doing business as Patios located at 33A Union Street. Date of the incident, January 20th, 2023. Assault and battery, patron on staff in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Sorry, Ms.
Oh, sorry, Noelle Summers for,
Great, thank you.
sorry.
Thank you very much. And who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant DePina.
And Officer Michael Hiltonen.
Thank you. And are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? You know, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Who will be reading the police report into the record?
I will, sir.
Thank you. You may please proceed.
Good morning. About 11:34 p.m. on Friday, January 20th, 2023, officers Hilton and Marchand assigned to the Alpha 102 Frank responded to a radio call for investigating EMS at Patios, 33 Union Street, downtown Boston. Upon arrival, officers met with restaurant employee Emily Carlson, who stated that there was a female passed out inside the women's bathroom. At that time, officers observed the victim, later identified as Emily DeCastro, on the ground next to the toilet covered in her own vomit. At that time, officers attempted to wake her up, to which she was unresponsive. At that time, officers requested EMS. Officers asked Carlson if DeCastro had been served inside the restaurant, to which she stated they had come in and ordered waters. Carlson then explained that after ordering the drinks, DeCastro and her friends went to use the bathroom. Shortly after, Carlson stated that she was approached by another employee to check on them. At that point, Carlson stated that she observed DeCastro on the ground. Carlson attempted to wake DeCastro up, but was unsuccessful. At that point, she had another employee call 911. Boston EMS Ambulance 1 then arrived on scene and evaluated DeCastro. Boston EMS informed officers that they would be transporting DeCastro to Mass General Hospital for further treatment. Officers then spoke with DeCastro's friends, Peyton Lewandowski and Zara Calderon, who stated that they were at the Bell and Hand Tavern earlier in the night prior to going to Patios. Officers then collected information from all parties on scene. Alpha 914 Sergeant DePina advised for code 35, citation number 059103. Body worn camera was activated during this time.
Thank you very much, officer. Ms. Summers, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Sure. So they had come in, they seemed fine when they came in at the door. They did just get waters. Emily, the patron, went into the bathroom. Our door guy had seen that she was on the floor, got our female employee, Emily, to go in and check on her. When she tried to wake her up, she was kind of like swinging, and then she passed out and started throwing up. She turned her to her side and they called 911. We did get the friends, we gave our general manager's number to the friends. They called the next day to say that she was okay. And they also say that they hadn't had any drinks. We had watched cameras to make sure that they did not have anything when they came in. They did appear fine coming in to the establishment.
Thank you, Ms. Summers. I'll turn it over to see if the board has any questions for you. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Do you know about how long she was in your establishment?
No longer than 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't a very long time at all. I think she went directly to the bathroom.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None from me either. Thank you.
Thank you. In that case, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, 1222 LLC, located at 1222 Washington Street in Roxbury. Date of the incident, March 7th, 2023. Assault and battery, employee on employee, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Yes, this is William Svets. I am the part owner and general manager of Cathedral Station. I appreciate you calling this hearing, but before I get started, I did not realize that we'd have a witness who works for me without me being notified prior to that. This way I would have given an opportunity to the other subject to be at this hearing. I want to tell you, I am not easy when it comes to assault. Assault to me is the worst thing you can do, whether it's employee or whether it's in guest. I've been in this business 40 years. Never had an incident like this where employee. But I interviewed all the staff that was on that day on March 7th. I did not find out about it until the day afterwards when there was a violation on my desk.
Thank you. And we will have an opportunity to go over all of this in a moment. Right now, we're just asking who is here on behalf of the parties. So we'll have a chance for you to give your statement and for the board to ask any questions they may have under oath. I will also ask who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department.
Sorry about that, Detective Fencer, District 4.
Thank you, Detective Fencer. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Oh, hang on, Mr. Rob M. I'm asking you to unmute yourself. You're currently on mute.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you could please identify yourself.
Rob Mankey. I also work at Cathedral Station. I'm a manager.
Thank you very much. And are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Detective Fencer, if you could please proceed with the police report.
About 5:29 p.m. on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023, Officer Thomas, while assigned to the front desk at District 4 Station, was approached by the victim, Robert Mankey, who wanted to file an assault and battery report that occurred at 1223 Washington Street in Boston, Mass. The victim, Mankey, stated to the officer that on March 7th, 2023, at approximately 9:30 p.m., a verbal argument broke out between himself and the suspect, Carlos Landano, over a food order being placed in the kitchen. The victim, Mankey, continued to state that the suspect blindsided him and pushed him across the kitchen floor and caused him to hit his neck and back off a kitchen appliance. The officer did ask the victim, Mankey, if he required any medical attention, which he declined, and stated that he is very sore in his neck and back area, but will use Advil to manage the pain and will seek further medical attention if needed. Upon further investigation into this incident, on 3/29/2023, Detective Fencer and the Delta 801 spoke with the victim, Robert Mankey, who stated that the incident occurred at the Cathedral Station restaurant located at 1222 Washington Street. The victim stated that he is the manager of the establishment and the suspect is a lead cook there. The victim stated that the suspect has worked there for several years and he knows him well. He stated that the suspect has had past history of bullying people and threatening the staff. He stated that on the night of the incident, he had put in an order for food after hours, and he and the suspect got into a verbal argument. He stated that the suspect then shoved him, causing him to go airborne into the wall. He stated that as a result of this, the owner of the establishment suspended the suspect for 6 days. He stated that due to the fact that there were no other people to cook at the restaurant, the suspect then was brought back to the kitchen to work. The victim stated that since the incident, he and the suspect work together, but do not interact in any way except for work-related issues. On April 4th, 2023, I responded to the Cathedral Station bar, where the victim, Robert Mankey, made a positive identification of the suspect from a Boston police booking photo of the suspect, Carlos Landano, provided by Detective Fencer with no other identifiers. So after further investigation into this incident, Detective Fencer sought a complaint out of Boston Municipal Court against Carlos Landano for assault and battery. At about 9:07 PM on April 3rd, 2023, Detective Fensa in the Delta 801, along with Sergeant Detective Carroll in the Delta 982, responded to the Cathedral Sports Bar located at 1222 Washington Street and issued license premise inspection notice 026493 for an assault and battery, employee on employee. And that is the end of the report.
Thank you, Detective Fencer. Mr. Spates, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Who are you asking?
Would you like to address the alleged incident?
I'll address it. Yes, I'll address
it.
I'll address it. When I found the next day the violation, I had immediately suspended Carlos Sandoni until I got to the bottom of this. I interviewed the people who worked that evening. Not one of them witnessed that event. Mr. Lindado said to me when I asked him, he did say he pushed him. That the reason he pushed him, he was getting too close and they were both screaming at each other. I asked the bartender who worked that night with Mr. Mankey. They heard was screaming. There was no other witness, whether the people that worked the kitchen, they were in the dishwashing room and did not see this attack. Again, Mr. Mankey knows how I am when it comes to assault. I was here in '81, so let me tell you, there was assault on the LBGT community. And that's exactly what type of establishment we have. But we also have the neighbors who support us here. So it's an extremely diverse clientele that we get here. This upsets me very, very strongly. I could not find another witness to this event. Mr. Redondo, Carlos, said he pushed, and I said to him, that is an assault. That's when I suspended him for 7 days. Since then, both of the Mankey and Carlos have been working together since coming back to work. I don't think they've had any confrontation at all anymore. They hardly speak to each other. But I felt in all fairness that I can't just take one word over another. There was no other witness I had in there. Even though that Mr. Mankey and I and most of our guests are members of the LGBT community. And Mr. Carlos is a Colombian. He was over here 20 years ago. Certainly, he gets excited at times and raises his voice. And that's the extent of this. Now, I did suspend him, and I also said to him, there is no second chances. I never was interviewed by any police officer. I was not contacted by anything else. I did the best I could. I figured out if I start going over someone else's head or going around their back, I'm not sweeping this under the rug. It happened. The degree of the push is debatable because there's no other corroborating witness. So I did suspend him. And I said, this is the last time anything, if you even come close to attempting to just touch somebody, you're no longer going to be working with me. Since then, there has been no incident to my knowledge, just to my knowledge. I know that Mr. Mankey dislikes Ms. Carlos, but it's so unusual that Mr. Mankey hired Carlos to be the new head chef there. I was away. The other chef they had was not doing his job. He did the right thing, and I backed him up on it. This is the first incident an assault. There's also an assault to me, is verbal assault. We went through verbal assault as an LBGT member in the 80s, which is unbelievable. So I don't have any tolerance for whether it's a verbal or an assault with your hands or anything. He's aware of that. And that's the way I thought it was, I was being fair. After 5 years of working, he was not written up. Yes, he gets upset and yells at some of the waiters that are not picking the food up. But that's what happens in a busy kitchen. But assault is not my cup of tea.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Spates. Chairman Joyce, do you have any questions for the licensee or the officer at this time, or would you like to hear from Mr. Mankey first?
Thank you, Danny. I will hold off on any comments and questions right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mankey. Is there anything further you would like the board to know?
No, Mr. Svets covered pretty much all.
Great, thank you for that. We'll move to see if there are any questions. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
None for me either. Thank you.
Thank you. The board will take this matter under advisement. Calling item number 4, ST Entertainment Group, Inc., doing business as Metro, located at 100 Stewart Street, date of the incident April 9th, 2023. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Thank you, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, Commissioners Leslie Delaney Hopkins with the law firm of Prince-Slow Bell on behalf of the licensee. And with me today is Brian Lesser, the owner and manager of record.
Thank you very much. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
I'm sorry, Attorney Green, which one is this again? I'm sorry.
This is item number 4, ST Entertainment Group, Metro, formerly known as Tunnel.
Oh, Lieutenant Detective Troy for the Boston Police Department, sorry.
Thank you, Lieutenant Detective. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? And you can now please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
Thank you, Lieutenant Detective Troy. If you could please proceed with the police report.
Reading from a police report, an incident report authored by Officer Kurt Merricks. It reads as follows: on April 9th, 2023, Officer Merricks and Officer Genus responded to 100 Stewart Street for an unconscious male on the ground. On arrivals, officers observed the EMTs attending to an unknown male unconscious on the ground, later identified as David Alois. The victim was semi-alert in the back of an ambulance, was able to tell the officers and the EMTs what had happened to him due to the fact that he lost consciousness. Was unable to tell due to the fact that he lost consciousness. While in the back of the ambulance, Officer Merrick could observe bruising blood coming from the victim's left eye. Victim was transported to Tufts Medical Center by ambulance 3 for possible head trauma. Officers did speak to a suspect, David, who stated that while he was doing security at the front door of the nightclub, he observed the victim come out of the club and tried to walk past a roped off area. When he asked the victim to walk the other way, the victim sucker punched him, so he punched him. While the Alpha 202 was still on scene, the Alpha Base Tactical Operations Center, along with Sergeant Blas, viewed the video cameras from Charles Street and Stewart Plaza at 12:33 to 12:45, and Tremont and Stewart also, and observed the suspect pick up the victim and body slam hit the victim into the ground while on top of the victim, and then while on top of the victim repeatedly and with a closed fist punch the victim in the face, and then run back into the nightclub, the Tunnel. Sergeant Downey issued a license premise violation to the Tunnel nightclub for assault and battery on patron, employee on patron. Suspect was arrested and transported to District 1 for assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon, 2 with sidewalk, and assault and battery with bodily injuries. After the suspect was booked by booking officer, suspect complained of a hand injury and was evaluated by EMTs and transported to the hospital for a possible broken hand. That's the extent of the incident report.
Thank you, Lieutenant Detective Troy. Attorney Hawkins, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Thank you, Attorney Green. Very briefly, Lieutenant Detective Troy, you were not present for the alleged incident, correct?
No, ma'am, I was not.
You have no personal knowledge of the alleged incident?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Thank you very much. With me is Brian Lesser. As I mentioned, he is the owner and operator. Before I ask Brian a few questions, we have not seen the surveillance footage that is referenced in the report. We have offered our surveillance footage, which we maintained and includes the time leading up to the incident itself, as well as afterwards. We have offered that to the police as this is an ongoing criminal investigation. And we can provide it to the board because it is very clear on that surveillance footage, which Brian is going to describe kind of what the series of events were. And Brian, could you just please state your name for the record?
Sure, Brian Lesser,
And Brian, what is your role at the establishment?
manager of record for this place.
And were you present on the night of the alleged incident?
I was not present on the night of the incident, but I have reviewed and interviewed staff.
Right, could you give the board in your own words what you've learned from reviewing the surveillance footage and speaking to staff?
Well, the person in question was in the club earlier, had left the club and was gone with another person for maybe 30 minutes or so. And on his arrival back, the door personnel, security outside, thought that he seemed a little bit off. So, and they sort of held him at the front and asked him to please hold on for a few minutes. There was a stanchion, a rope stanchion, where he was standing outside of. And at that particular point, he became pretty aggressive and verbally abusive to the two doormen that were there. Everything from sort of racial slurs to all kinds of threatening things. And at that point, our security personnel just said, "Hey, listen, I think you should just leave. You're not going to come inside." Obviously, when there's any type of verbal sort of issue, it'll only escalate if they go inside. So they've asked him to move on the way, that he wasn't coming inside. And at that point, he sort of became a pest and was following the door guys around, and they were trying to please tell him to leave, that call it a night, he wasn't going to come in. And they were being very polite with him as well. And one of the door personnel asked him, "Please go." And as he turned around, the person in question sucker punched the door person twice in the face while he wasn't looking. Clearly attacked him from the back, made a comment about possible weapon. The doorman immediately freaked out and didn't know what was happening, grabbed the suspect, threw him to the ground, and his instinct, came in. He didn't know if the guy was armed or whatever. He punched him a couple times, from what it appears in the camera. The other door person immediately pulled him off. And we called 911 immediately at the time. The doorman we pulled off, asked him to go inside. He had swelling on his face from the punches that he received. We asked him to go downstairs, stay downstairs, wait till the police arrived, go put some ice on his face. And we waited for the police to arrive, which they did. And that's the extent of the incident.
Thank you. And that doorman, how long had he been working for you?
He'd worked for us for 6 years. He was an engineer at Brigham, Brigham's. He's been a model employee. His day job is an engineer, as I mentioned. We've never had an issue with him. He's a really nice guy. And it's unfortunate that this incident happened. And
Following the incident, you did terminate him as an employee.
yes, he was terminated as an employee.
Great, thank you very much. Madam Chair, Commissioners, while we in no way condone the excessive use of force, it is clear from the video itself that the patron did initiate the physical altercation. Again, the employee who then became involved and used excessive force was immediately terminated. He was removed physically by the other door staff from the alleged victim and kept inside while police were called. This is very unfortunate, but there was nothing either with the prior employment history of this door person or the events of the night that would have indicated this would move from simply asking the patron to move along to a physical altercation which the employee obviously responded to with excessive force. We've also discussed with our employees, again, the importance of de-escalation and using appropriate force as opposed to what happened in this incident. But we respectfully suggest that this wasn't reasonably foreseeable, and the surveillance footage that we'll provide makes very clear what Mr. Lesser has just explained. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Attorney Hawkins. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
Just a couple of questions. Mr. Lester, did you take any internal reports following the incident? I know you said you met with staff or interviewed staff. Were there any written internal reports?
No, there was a, ongoing, there's a current litigation that's going on as well. So obviously representation or counsel has been interviewing staff. They've been keeping records of everything for the litigation process.
Okay. So you stated that the verbal assaults were, that there were verbal assaults in addition to the physical assault. Is that, how did you learn that? Was your video have sound or?
It doesn't have sound, but you can obviously tell by the video itself that he's, sort of saying things to him. He's taunting him. And our staff has been very good about it. They just would turn their back. They'd say, please move along. Even the other door person said, listen, please, it's time to go. And they didn't feel it was going to be, a threatening situation. If it escalated to a point where it appeared to be going to be a physical confrontation, we would have called, for assistance immediately. But at the time, it felt as though that the patron was just going to move along his way. And then, as you can see, you'll see in the video, he just came up behind him and just punched him twice in the face. It was unprovoked, obviously, and completely out of the blue.
Okay, thank you. And Attorney, you'll forward the video to us?
Absolutely.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Just for clarity, what did the other door person that was there do at that moment?
So the other door person was probably about 7 or 8 feet away when it happened. The whole incident, you'll see on the tape, took less than four seconds. It was very, very fast. So they immediately were stunned at what happened, and then they rushed over and pulled the doorman off the person and sent him inside. That was his immediate reaction. And then we called immediately for police, 911.
And as you said, you don't have the video that was observed by the officer on the night. Do you believe that the video you're going to send us is like clear and captures the entire scene enough for us to rely on that, what you have?
Crystal clear. It shows up the events that go up to it. It shows the event itself, and it shows afterwards. The video footage that we're hearing about seemed to not catch the total incident, or was only partial and very grainy and things of that nature. This is clear video, as clear as it gets.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. The board will take this matter under advisement, and please do forward that video for the board's review as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling item number 5, J Bond LLC, located at 25 Kingston Street, date of the incident, May 7th, 2023. Assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon in front of premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 15A. Failure to cooperate with police in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.10A and B. And failure to notify Boston Licensing Board of Armed Security in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Sharok Reza.
Thank you, Mr. Reza. Thank you for being with us this morning. I understand that you are present to request a continuance. Is that correct?
Yes, if it's possible.
If you could please explain to the board why you're here.
I've actually recently moved and I had a change of address. Normally, the violation also gets mailed to my house, and somehow through the miscommunication, I never got it to my new address, and in between the other notice that was sent, there was some sort of a miscommunication, and we didn't know about it basically until Friday night is when we figured out. But you know, if it's too much trouble, I'm happy to go over an incident. And you know, I was there literally a minute after it happened. But I prefer, as I said, to have Iglesias present as our attorney. But if it pleases the commission, we're happy to go through it right now.
We already notified the police that you requested a continuance. I wanted you to join us today because this was hand delivered to the establishment on August 23rd, and some member of your staff signed for it. So can you explain why that was never, why your staff never told you about this, or did you investigate that?
Yes, they did tell me about that getting delivered. They just didn't say what the date was on there. I thought it was just a violation getting delivered, but this was the violation plus the, the secondary notice that comes with the date. And that I didn't know. I thought it was just regular violation getting delivered. And he verbally told me, hey, Sergeant Gallagher just delivered stuff. And I just assumed that it was the violation getting delivered, not the whole package that tells you to show up and all that. If it makes sense.
I would imagine if someone delivered a violation or a notice of hearing, as a manager, you would be interested to see what that stated. And to me, it's something that's very serious. So I don't know why you would just not take a look at it. But we are going to reschedule this. It's just a waste of our time to even go into this anymore. But I think you need to talk to your staff. You need to do some retraining of your management and to take these notices more seriously and to look at them yourself.
My sincere apology, Madam Chairwoman. And again, I did know that it was the violation that got delivered. I didn't know it was the notice of appearance. I just assumed it was the violation. And again, if it's too much trouble,
we are going to reschedule this. We've already asked the police, your attorneys in Europe, we're going to reschedule it. But I highly urge you to take any delivery of a notice by the licensed premise unit seriously, and to read it over yourself and not to rely on what your staff says.
My sincere apologies to the commissioner and yourself. And
okay, we're going to move on now.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. This item will be rescheduled. Mr. Reza, if you have moved, please contact the board to update your mailing address so that in the future we can make sure it's delivered to the right place.
I've already done. Marcus sent a notice already. So
thank you for that.
So much. My apologies again.
Thank you, Mr. Reza. Calling item number 6, Susu Gourmet Inc. doing business as Susu Gourmet, located at 70 Tyler Street. Date of the incident, February 22nd, 2023. Expired common victular license posted in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9, and premise keeping alcohol on premise without an alcohol license in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Sue Lee. That's my aunt. I'm just here to translate and help her, but she's the owner and manager.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, ma'am, I think I missed your name. Could you identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Yuling, Y-U, and then L-I-N-G. I'm her niece. She's my aunt.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Thank you. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do. We do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, could you please proceed with the police report?
Yes, good morning. On 2/22/2023 at 10:14 p.m., Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Susu Gourmet at 70 Tyler Street. Detectives were made aware that the premise had not renewed their common victual license for 2023. As detectives entered the premise, they observed a 1.75 liter bottle of Hennessy cognac on the dining room floor under a table. Detectives pointed this out to the employee on scene, who spoke little English. The employee was able to call the owner, Sue Lee. Detectives informed Miss Lee the purpose of their visit. Miss Lee was unable to provide detectives with a copy of the application. Miss Lee was able to provide detectives with a copy of the application for the renewal of the common victual license. Detectives were unable to determine if the application had been processed and paid for. Detectives informed Miss Lee to post the current license if she had it, or to contact City Hall if she needed assistance. In addition, detectives informed Miss Lee that her current license does not allow for alcohol to be on premise or sold to patrons. Miss Lee stated there had been a birthday party earlier in that evening and they were closed. Also, during the course of the inspection, detectives observed 2 block fire exits, which were pointed out to Miss Lee. As a result of what was observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice number 060159 to Susu Gourmet for expired common victual license posted, premise keeping alcohol on premise with alcohol license. Miss So Lee signed for and accepted the notice. So essentially, next that evening.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective Gallagher. Ms. Lee, Ms. Ling, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, can I translate everything that the officer say？
Yes,
咁佢話咧都係講翻嗰個情況嗰日咯，即係咯。咁而家佢問我哋有咩講，咁你同我講中文，我講冇啊俾你。我咪同你話嗰日係閂門，嗰日係又咁樣咯。你同我講。
我寧願係閂門嗰啲意思話休息嘅嗰我有領開 party 呢個啲人我唔知啦。
Okay. Yes. First, we would like to say sorry and thank you for the postponing the day. We would like to say that yes, indeed, we do have the Hennessy on the bottom of the table, but I wanted to get a notice that we close on Wednesday. We have a private party between among employees. And when the officer came at 10:14, he forgot to close outside, but then he came in and he didn't know much English. That's why he called Miss Lee Ma'an. And we explained to the officers the same thing, that we have a party. That bottle is not for sale or anything like that. And the license, in terms of the license, she already paid for it. And but we haven't received anything. So we have to follow up with that. And it's just a notation. She just came yesterday from China, just today, this morning. So we wanted to say that as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll see if there are any questions from the board. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
I do have a question. Was the Hennessy's, were people at the private party drinking Hennessy's?
Repeat the question again.
So the bottle that was there for the party, so were people from your private party drinking the bottle of Hennessy?
Oh, let me ask. 佢話嗰啲係俾我哋嗰啲人飲嘅。It's our own people, employees that was drinking.
Okay. That is not allowed either.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have a party that day.
But you can't do that at private parties either, even if it's
No,
your-
no, it's not. It was not a private party. It was an employee, and we closed on Wednesday officially. And
Okay,
that was
just so you know, you can never have Hennessy drank on your premise, even if it's for your employees.
Oh,
Even when
okay.
you're
Then I
closed.
was sorry for that. We did
Okay,
not.
that's illegal.
Let me tell her that. 佢話咧，就係你係閂門，係生意，你自己飲，你唔可以喺入邊飲。Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
We apologize for that. I'm so sorry.
This is just a beer and wine license, right?
It's a CV. It's a no alcohol.
Oh, CV, yeah, okay, so sorry. There is no alcohol that can be ever drank on your premise by anyone.
Okay.
Even if you're closed to the public and having a private party.
Okay, understood. 佢話唔可以飲啦。
Okay, okay.
And you can't keep alcohol on the premise either. So you have
都
to
唔
remove
可以
alcohol.
飲，唔可以飲同埋唔可以 keep。
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alright.
Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I think you covered it. Thank you.
Just curious, are the rules and regulations, are they translated in Cantonese or Mandarin?
We do not currently have translated versions of our rules and regulations.
So can you go over the niece, can you go over those rules and regulations and help her understand the rules and regulations?
Yes，佢話咧，你頭先佢因為佢冇翻譯中文啊，佢叫我同你講係唔可以飲又唔可以 keep， 係咪啊？好嘛？你講我聽，你講我聽，好嘛？同埋你有兩個，你有兩個 exit block 嗰時咧，你都可以清咗係咪啊？你同我講，係咪？你同我講出嚟。Yes, she understood. Oh, she also wanna say that officer point out the block exit. We already unblock everything just to make a notation. But I did explain again to her, my aunt, that no keeping alcohol, no drinking anytime in their premises.
Thank you.
Okay, and one more thing, your license was expired for 2023, you never renewed it. So we need you to renew your license for this year, and that's coming up soon. Do you understand that?
Okay, 佢話你個 license 你俾咗錢啦，係嘛？
係啊。
不過係未寄你。
未寄啊。
She saying that she already paid, but then have not received the license. But we will follow up going to the office.
Thank you. Yes, please follow up with our office. The payment,
Yes.
on top of that, we need the renewal application, so we'll get both of those squared away.
佢叫你仲 follow up 嗰度。
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Saxon, did you have something further?
Yeah, just to really make sure you guys understand, there's a packet of rules and regulations. So this is not the only rule and regulation about not having alcohol, but just in general, you need to have that. You need to have your rules and regulations and go through all of them.
Yes, 佢話咧唔係淨淨有呢個 rule， 佢仲有好多係唔應該做啲嘢。佢叫我同你講。Yeah, we will. And let me ask you, how can I find our information about it?
Thank you. It's all linked on our website. There's a full link to the rules and regulations. You can also, if you have any questions about them, you can always reach out to our office. We can talk to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything further from the board on this?
No.
Board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 7, Duo Man LLC, doing business as Walk and Talk, located at 23 South Huntington Ave in Jamaica Plain. Date of the incident, April 5th, 2023. Locked fire exit bolted in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9, and expired licenses. Common Victular, Inspectional Services, and Fire have expired in 2017 and 2018 in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? But Mr. Long, I see you, but you are on mute. Here we go.
Nathan Long.
Thank you, Mr. Long. And you are, just if you could please, provide to the board, you are the manager of record or the owner. What is your position at the licensed premise?
I am the owner and past manager there.
Owner and manager. Thank you. And who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective William Gallagher.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you please raise your right hand? Mr. Long, if you could please raise your right hand for us.
Okay,
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please proceed with the police report.
Yes, good morning. On Wednesday, April 5th, 2023, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD Licensed Premise Unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Walk and Talk Restaurant located at 23 South Huntington Ave in Boston. Upon reviewing the licenses and premises of the establishment, detectives observed there was no current Special Services Department certificate posted. Displayed certificate expired back in 2017. Detectives also noticed there was no common victual license posted. Displayed license had expired back on December 31st, 2018. Detectives then noticed that there was no current Boston Fire Department assembly permit posted. Displayed permit had expired on June 30th, 2018. Detectives then attempted to check the rear fire exit, but could not open the rear door because it was bolted shut. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Nathan Long. Mr. Long was unable to provide detectives with the current licenses, permits, or certificates. As a result, what detectives had observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection number 040316 for no current ISD certificate posted, no current BFD place of assembly permit posted, no current common victuals license posted, and a locked fire exit. Mr. Long signed for and accepted the notice. It should be noted that this is the third inspection notice written for the same exact violations. Attached reports are number 202022762, written on March 24th, 2020, and report number 212081730, written on November 7th, 2021. Second, and those are the facts of that evening.
Thank you very much. Mr. Long, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, I would like to say sorry to the city of Boston and also the commissioner for what had happened. For the back door, the bolt, it was removed right now, and then just like we concerned about the safety breaking in. So that's the reason we put it like a long time ago. So we already removed it. Regarding the license, it's I think this is causing due to one or two reasons. First is the stress out from the small business and from the staff, and also the difficulty of the business. And so myself work in the kitchen sometimes by myself, so not easy to find the people. So and it make like a lot of things like delay become a very bad habit. And so I would like to say sorry. And also another thing is that we, in terms of like the safety, right? We do have like the hood cleaning, the fire extinguish, the regular check as I follow required by the city, and also we have the also the fire alarm, the annual checking every year. So we follow all those. And the next step is after this hearing, and also in the last couple of weeks, we have been we organized the store, and also like next week we planning to go to the building department to schedule for the inspection and take care of the licensing issue, and we'll follow the city rule or state regulation. So sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Chairman Joyce, do you have any questions?
I do. So have you renewed your license with us since 2018 or no?
Yeah, we did. I just didn't post it, and we do like renew. I think like I didn't renew it until like I think it's 2020, starting the COVID.
All right, so our records state that you have not paid for or renewed your license since 2018. Is that right, Danny? Is that what I'm looking at?
The last renewal I see is in 2018 for your 2019 license.
So were you not open during COVID? I mean, obviously no one was, but did you not renew your license?
During the COVID? Yeah, during the COVID, I didn't.
How long have you been open? When did you reopen after COVID? Like, you have to renew your license every year. You have to have proper inspections, fire inspections, ISD inspections.
Yes. we shut down for 2 months and then we open up when the COVID happened.
Okay. So you did not renew in 2020, for 2021, for 2022, or
Correct. Yeah.
2023? Okay, you've been operating with no license for 4 years?
No.
Okay.
No. I will come by the licensing board and then we'll pay for the whatever penalty need to pay for it. But but we are going to like schedule the inspection from the building department first before coming over. I hope it will be done like within like this month in September.
Okay. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
What did you do in response to the other times that our licensed premise inspection unit had been in there? The report says that they've been in there several other times. Why haven't you taken action on those?
I think like that's become like running the small business become very tough in the last couple of years, and just putting myself like too many hours in the restaurant, and then a lot of things get delayed and become like a very bad habit. I think that's the main issue causing the problem.
And when was the last time your restaurant was inspected by the Boston Fire Department?
I think it was, I don't remember. I think it's maybe about like 4 years ago. I don't remember quite clearly.
And what is your restaurant's capacity? How many people can you have in there?
We have officially we can put in about 90 sitting, but we only put in about like 20 sittings over there right now. Oh, sorry.
Are you stating that you're self-limiting your capacity?
Yes, I do. Yeah, because of COVID, because of a lot of things, and then the short manpower. So we do cut down like a lot. Like in the last 3 years, we only taking takeout. We only have about like 15 sitting over there for the guests.
Yeah, because what I'm concerned about right now is I'm kind of breaking down this situation in my mind is like without the Boston Fire Department having inspected.
I'm so sorry about it. Give me 1 second.
No worries.
Karen, I might be able to add that the place is kind of morphed into a takeout. It's a 2-floor premise, and we haven't seen too many people sitting down there. The upstairs is basically unutilized and not used. First floor, every time we're there, it appears to be takeout only. And the gentleman you're talking to, he seems to be a one-man show. So that's our observations of the place. So if you're talking about multiple people in the premise, that's not happening currently.
I mean, that makes me less concerned. I just want to make sure you stick to that, because until you have your inspections, I would be very concerned with you trying to fill that restaurant to capacity.
I understand that.
Okay.
Are your inspections scheduled? Do you have them scheduled?
Because normally when we schedule the inspection, they will come like in the next 2 days. So this couple of weeks we have been reorganize everything. So just getting ready for that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board, Commissioner Saxon?
No further questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 8, Arguedas Corporation, located at 30 Bennington Street in East Boston, dated the incident June 24th, 2023. Overcrowding, 53, mechanical count, capacity 31, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Boards Rule 1.03J and 1.06A and F. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
I'm just gonna be a translator for her.
Thank you. Good morning. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective William Gallagher.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you please raise your right hand? The licensee, if you could please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We do.
Thank you. Sergeant Gallagher, if you could please proceed with the police report.
Yes, good morning. On Saturday, June 24th, 2023, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD Licensed Premise Unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Bohemios Restaurant located at 30 Bennington Street. Detectives walked inside the establishment. Detectives asked the front door staff how many patrons they currently had. Staff members stated that they did not have a count. While reviewing the licenses and permits of the establishment, detectives learned the capacity of the premise is set at 31 persons. Sergeant Detective Gallagher performed a mechanical count of the establishment, discovered the actual number of persons located inside the premise was 53. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Ms. Paula Lopera. Ms. Lopera stated that she would immediately bring the establishment into compliance. As a result of what detectives had observed, Sergeant Gallagher issued a licensed premise inspection notice number 040522 for overcrowding of the establishment. Ms. Lopera signed for and accepted the notice. It should be noted that while walking out of the rear of the establishment, Detective Hernandez observed multiple patrons drinking beer in the unlit patio area. Ms. Lopera stated that the patrons did not belong to her bar and was not sure how they got into her locked patio yard area. Those essentially are the facts of night. I just want to add this was during a Colombian National Football Championship, and we were asked to respond over there with concerns that the area might have some overcrowding in the establishment. That's it.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective Gallagher. Mr. Pranez, Ms. Pranez, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, good morning. Mami, ¿qué fue lo que pasó?
Hubo un partido de fútbol y al haber el partido de fútbol, entonces cuando hubo un gol, en ese momento fue que se entró tanta gente a ver el gol.
So what happened was there was a soccer game that day. Just for the record, we were the ones that contacted the police and told them that it was going to be really crowded because we know about it usually. And it was a soccer game. And when the officer was coming in, and if I can ask Mr. Detective Gallagher, when he walked in, everything was really calm, everything was nice. When we go to the back to give him the license, there was a goal and everybody just came in to see it. That's why we didn't know where the other people were from the patio, because we closed our patio. It was closed. So I don't know how everybody came in at the same time.
Thank you. Anything further?
That's all.
Okay, we'll see if there are any questions. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
I too. So you knew it was going to be crowded and you called the police to let them know you're expecting a big crowd because of the soccer match. How many staff did you have on that day?
¿Cuántos seguridad tenías ella?
Uno.
One.
Okay. One like door person or a bartender?
Yeah, one. It's a really small place. It's not this restaurant. It's a small, but
you can't rely on the police to act as security and doormen for your establishment, even on busy days.
I'm sorry, Ms. Joyce. No, it's not. It wasn't for the establishment. It was for the outside, because usually the Sergeant Gallagher could provide the same details. There's usually people outside. We're talking about 500 to 600 people in the street.
Okay.
It wasn't for the establishment, it was for the outside.
How did people get into your locked backed patio?
What it is there's like a little alleyway, but we already put a lock on it. We close it. It's always remained closed. We didn't know that people will actually go back there. It's closed now.
Commissioner Saxon, Commissioner Kern, do you have any questions?
The locked patio, I'm not familiar with the premises. It's through your restaurant, you go out to a patio in the back, is that correct?
What it is a driveway, and that driveway has a door, has a gate. What we used to do is just park the cars and leave it open, but we don't do that no more. We close it because you have access to the patio from the alleyway, from the little driveway. Sorry.
And is that part of like the emergency exit route?
No, sir. The emergency exit is through the back.
Through the back, so this is more on the side?
This is more into a driveway. It's like a driveway. Once you walk probably like 10 feet, then you come to the patio, which now we have a license for the patio too, just for the record.
Okay, thank you.
I'm curious about your staffing. So you said you only had one staff person for a capacity of 30, and then
No,
for capacity
one security guard. Sorry, one security guard. Staff, we had probably like 4, 5, but one security guard. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
And is that what you usually use for when you're at capacity, just one security guard?
Yes, but now that we have the patio, we have one in the back of the patio.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything further from the board?
No.
Board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Calling item number 9, Jan Hung Inc., doing business as New Moon Villa Restaurant located at 15 to 19 Edinburgh Street. Date of the incident, June 28th, 2023. Premise storing liquor without appropriate license. This is a beer and wine license only, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Do we have anybody with us today on behalf of New Moon Villa?
I think there's someone on an iPhone. Jian Lin.
I do see Jan Lin on here. They do not have, it does not appear that they have audio enabled. Oh, hang on, they're also on a cell phone. I see that. I've just asked you that the two accounts are linked. I've just asked you to unmute if you're on with us. It's a cell phone ending in 9995. Well, thank you. Are you with us? Was this the cell phone associated with Jan Lin? It looks like we are having some sort of connection issues. Is there anybody else with us on behalf of New Moon Villa? Chairman Joyce, would you like this read into the record? Would you like to reschedule with the licensee? How would you like to proceed?
I think we should reschedule. If we could contact them, and it looks like they have attempted to join, but there might be some sort of connection issue.
Yeah, it seems like it is. They're not able to communicate with us right now. We will reach out after this and get them rescheduled to the next available hearing date.
All right, thank you.
Those are all of the items before the board today. That will adjourn this morning's hearing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.